I'm here outside the Ka Theater in the MGM Grand with the one and only Don Steven Espinoza. Good to see you again, sir.
You too, brother.
All right, so epic press conference there. I mean, you used to have a very good working relationship with Oscar. Now you're on opposite sides of the table with him. Speak to that real quick.
Yeah, look, there's been some ups and downs, but look, I think, this promotion's been great. I mean, it's been cordial. It's been good to see these guys, regardless of what happens in business. I've got a long history with all of them, with Oscar, with Eric, with Marilyn, with Bernard. Done a lot of work together, a lot of great events. So I'm glad we're working together. I'm glad that everything's collegial. It's good personally. It's great for the sport.
So, epic start to the year, I would say. Speaking impartially here, there was a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning with the Tim Tszyu fight, obviously being postponed for Undisputed, but overall, very strong and robust schedule. Do you consider that you have the best schedule so far in boxing here at Showtime?
Look, I don't think there's really a question when you talk about sort of the depth and the breadth, quantity and quality. Sure, look, there's other big fights out there. Nothing against those. Joshua's a big star. Canelo's a big star. There's a great fight coming up in Haney Lomachenko. But if you look at sort of week in, week out, at the quality of the cards we're doing from Showbox all the way up to pay-per-view, if you look at the quality of each card, sometimes title fights on the opening fight of a three-fight card. I mean, it disappoints me when I see other networks doing these, good main events and they're opening up with, just absolute mismatches, and meaningless fights. I think it's a lost opportunity. So I think when you look objectively at the quantity, the quality, the depth of our cards, I think it's without question we've got the strongest schedule of anybody out there in the sport.
So that obviously includes Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, and what they're offering.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I mean, I think in reality they've got some good fights. They've got some very good fighters. But I think in terms of the depth and the quality, the elite fighters, the championship fights, undisputed fights, unified fights, there's really no competition in the market right now.
Happy with what you saw there on stage today? I mean, Oscar spoke, Leonard Ellerby spoke. Do you think that the stars have aligned essentially for a fireworks show on Saturday night?
Look, I thought it was interesting. Look, the last thing you want at a press conference is boredom. You don't want a boring press conference. We certainly didn't have that. It's funny. Over the course of the promotion, I think, and this is just speculation, I think Tank and Ryan have grown to maybe respect each other more than they did at the start, maybe even like each other a little bit if they were forced to admit it. So, I wasn't expecting the same kind of sharp, they're competitive guys, so they're still going to be back and forth, but it's also respectful. I didn't expect, Oscar to come out firing. He came out, made it a little bit spicy. I think that's a good thing.
Lastly, this is going out to the UK. A lot of controversy over there with the question of PEDs and Conor Benn. As a network executive, how would you have handled that? Would you have been pushing for that fight to take place? Would you be considering putting on someone like Conor Benn on your platform, given what happened with the test?
Well, it's all about disclosure, and people going into it with their open eyes. Like we had a situation, now it's 10 years ago with Eric Morales, who we tested positive a trace amount of something before his fight, Danny Garcia.
Yes.
And, Danny Garcia, having been told and informed that, made the decision, he's fine going forward. I might not make the decision, not every fighter would. In those circumstances, he did. And I think that's fine because it was done with full information and full disclosure. I think what concerns me about some of the recent events, and I think concerns a lot of people in the UK, is the flow of information, the disclosure. The fact that not everybody knows, and you're going in with one side not knowing the other side tested positive, or in some cases, if we look at the Mir Khan thing, not even clear who knew what when. So I think, as a sport, and I'm not blaming the UK or the UK board, but I think as a sport, we really have to be unified and clean this up. what disclosures are made. I understand there are privacy concerns, there are confidentiality concerns, there are medical record concerns, but at the same time, we're talking about people's lives and safety here, and there should be some reliable method of informing the people who need to know in a timely manner so that we can all have confidence in what's going on in the sport.
Don Espinoza is Maestro, on behalf of Boxing King Media, thank you so much.
Good to see you, bro.
I appreciate that, brother.